6 o'clock, HRC meeting in city headquarters. How's that? I just need to find the agenda.
Well, I can start with attendance.
Okay, so let's start the roll call. Elena?
Commissioner Ansari.
Here.
Commissioner Barr.
Here.
Vice Chair Causey. Commissioner Shea.
Here.
Commissioner Carnum.
Here.
Chair Kraus.
Here.
Commissioner Stimler. Chair,
Now-
you have a quorum.
Oh, thank goodness. Let's do public comment. Do we have anyone on the line for public comment not on the agenda? Do we have anybody in the hall for public comment for items not on the agenda? Okay, let's move forward. Are there any agenda changes, additions, or deletions? Staff, anything?
No, not at this time.
Okay, let us move forward. Now, we need to move to the approval of the minutes. I need a resolution, a first and a second. These are the approval of the minutes for January 8th, 2026 for the HRC minutes.
Yes.
Yes, okay, we have Commissioner Sridhar
Yeah. Thank you.
has done the resolution. Do we have a second?
I would second that.
Okay, let's call the vote.
Commissioner Ansari.
Aye.
Commissioner Barr.
Aye.
Chair Kraus.
Aye.
Commissioner Shea.
Aye.
Commissioner Carnum.
Aye.
All right, the motion passes.
Thank you very much. Now we're going to go to business items. The first item under business is the presentation on existing LGBTQ+ events in Palo Alto that are led by the City of Palo Alto Library and Community Services Department staff. You have 30 minutes.
So we are going to start with Kristen from the Community Services Department.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Kristen O'Kane, Community Services Director, and I believe others will be weighing in on this as well, but I just wanted to say that I'll be spearheading our planning of our first Pride event in Palo Alto this June, and I'm really excited to bring this event to Palo Alto and work with our community members and our youth in Palo Alto to plan this event. So we're still finalizing a date, but it will be in June, and we'll likely be here in front of City Hall, and just really looking forward to having this event. So it's been a long time coming, and I think it's a wonderful time to bring it to Palo Alto.
Are there comments from the commissioners of, okay, Christine? Anyone? Okay.
Thank you.
Now, do we have public comment on this topic in the hall?
Yes, we have two speakers, but would you like us to go over the library first, or we can go to public comment now if you want?
Let's go to public comment.
Okay, so first we have Alex, and how long would you like to give the speakers?
3 to 4 minutes, as long as they need. We want to hear from our youth, so thank you for coming.
Of course. Good evening, commissioners. I am Alex Efremova. I am a senior at Gunn High School and a resident of Palo Alto. And I am also part of the effort to organize the first Palo Alto LGBTQ+ Pride event. Some of the things that I wanted to talk about have already been talked about by the previous speaker. But I just want to dive into the details of the event that we have been planning. So first of all, as has been said, we want it to be on King Plaza, right outside the City Hall. And we want it to be an event open to everyone, all members of the public, a big citywide event, and just in general, a celebration and a moment of joy for our queer community here in Palo Alto. And we will have a set of speakers and performers who will be performing on the topic of queer joy and queer rights activism, and just their experience as part of LGBTQ+ community members. Also, at our event, we are going to have community organizations who are working closely with LGBTQ+ advocacy table and present, so that people can network and see the organizations and resources that are helping the LGBTQ community in Palo Alto and the Greater Bay Area. And we are currently thinking of an idea of having a small parade or walk across the neighboring area of the City Hall. And another idea that we were thinking of is extending the event to and closing off the neighboring streets, and having local businesses support the event and have some sort of fun activities associated with the local businesses here in the downtown. The purpose of this event is, what I'm going to close my comment with, is to just celebrate and rejoice in LGBTQ+ pride, and to have our own moment of celebrating our amazing queer community here in Palo Alto. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
All right, next, Maura.
Good evening, commissioners, staff, and community members. First of all, thank you to all of you for the amazing work you do here for our community. My name is Maura Oman. I am the Executive Director of YCS, Youth Community Service. I am also the President of the Palo Alto Recreation Foundation and a resident of Palo Alto. I want to first begin by expressing my deep gratitude to Alex for his leadership in supporting the launch of the first Pride event in Palo Alto. I also want to thank Chair Kraus for joining us for our meetings, which happen on Sunday nights, and the last one was on Super Bowl Sunday night, and so very grateful for the time she took to come and listen and share her thoughts. We're grateful to the City Council members, especially Councilmember Julie Litcott-Hames, for helping to shape the event. Many of us have been meeting for about 6 months or more to think through how this event might take place. I also want to thank the whole council for supporting the Pride event. We've had over 40 people attending these Sunday evening meetings. Intergenerational, and it's been a really wonderful opportunity for people to get to know each other as well. I want to close by thanking city staff, especially Community Services Director Kristen O'Kane, for partnering with Alex, Enzo, Jax, Iris, who are just some of the youth who have stepped up to help plan and shape the event for our city. This is for the community at large. Please feel free to email pridedaypaloalto@gmail.com. That's pridedaypaloalto@gmail.com to learn more about how to get involved and to share your thoughts and ideas. And we look forward to sharing more details in the coming weeks. Thank you so much.
If you are online and would like to make public comment, please raise your hand now. We have no further public comment.
Okay. Shall we have a discussion among the commissioners? I have a few things to share as well. So may I start, which is we were fortunate enough to have our new mayor at the meeting on Sunday evening, and she has offered to do a proclamation or resolution, which is whatever is most appropriate, on the celebration of Pride in Palo Alto, number one. Number two, she has offered her help and assistance and guidance if we want to close off the surrounding streets, and particularly Ramona. And it's on the table, and I turn to Ms. O'Kane to guide us through that. But the mayor was kind enough to offer her suggestions and support at that meeting. So, commissioners, do you have a discussion? Why don't we start with Commissioner Ansari?
Excuse me, sorry. Nothing really to say, other than I think it's great and it's exciting, and, we're all here to help, whatever you need, so thank you.
Commissioner Barr?
Just, this is not meant to be a negative comment, but I think I have read about in other communities where there are pride events, there have sometimes been anti-gay pride people who disrupt the events. Has there been any kind of vocalization of anti-gay pride sentiment in our community and that might show up at any gathering?
I think that's a great flag that we could come back to later.
Thank you.
And we as a commission work very closely with the leadership of the police, so we'll share that comment and make them aware.
I don't have any questions, just wonderful, and glad to hear it, and best of luck.
Yeah, likewise. I think this is much needed for our community, so good luck.
There's one other announcement that an email I got on a WhatsApp group is they're asking middle and high school students to join them in Jewish Pride in action. And it will be at the JCC on March 1st. And we can share, we have the details of that here. To register, it's a long. www.paloaltojewish.org. But I think if you want to register, I can read it. It's https.
Chair, we can share it out at another time.
We can, that's
Yes.
fine, or make it available to those in this meeting. I think we're done with this agenda item. Let's move on to the bulk of what we're going to be doing this evening, and working on the work plan. Elena, could you put up, thanks. While we wait for, remember, we had 8 goals or categories They started with core responsibilities. We moved to number 2, the community mental health, which this, unfortunately, last week became even more important than ever, unfortunately. Goal 3 is community safety, and that there is an emphasis on that, which is more important after the tragedy of last week. Goal 4 is community engagement. Goal 5 is what we call HERD, which is housing, economic recovery and development. Goal 6 is climate resilience. Goal 7 is CEDAW, which is the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, Amen. And Goal 8 was rapid response. I've done some work with staff and others, my vice chair, to try to give us a leg up on making this a little simpler and consolidating some of these categories. I wish we had the time to do the breadth of what we're articulating, but I'll give you my sampling of what I think we can do, and let's see if you agree and if you have comments. Elena, slide 2, please. So, what we were trying to do is some consolidation. Our core responsibilities are very important. It's all the funding that we do in HISRAP and CBG and the Emerging Needs Fund. So that will stand as it is. Community safety, I'm hoping that we'll be able to move to goal 3, because the climate resilience work we wanted to do is all about safety, disaster mitigation. So I'm trying to move that up into the safety arena so that we're not only looking at the schools, the neighborhoods, the fraud, the faith leaders, but also climate mitigation to avoid disaster. And unfortunately, last week, we have something that happened, the tragedy that happened last week, and there now is an ad hoc rail safety and youth mental health subcommittee at the City Council. And I think because of the gravity of what happened, we're going to move that to the top agenda item, and we will collaborate with that ad hoc committee immediately, once we agree that this is our work plan. All right, goal number 4 is community engagement, and that has to do with lowering the state regs for ages up to 16 to be able to vote when they turn 16, but that's not federal. I think that's really important for us to understand. We can't impact that. But there's also we can do. The LGBT plus youth and allies work will fold in, the leadership day, the pride event, all the work we do with nonprofit service providers. And the overall goal is to increase community engagement. And I actually took AI for belonging off that list because I think it spreads us too wide. We have a lot of work to be done in that category. Now, goal 5 is heard, and that's everything concerning housing. We talked about goal 6. Now, regarding goal 7, I'm suggesting, and staff has agreed, that we move that up into community engagement until we get further direction from the city council, because it's all part of bringing people together, and in this case, it's women and equality, and that will fall into the area of community engagement. And then I'm suggesting, although I thought it was so important for us to be able to rapidly respond as a commission, I think that should be part of our core responsibilities. It should be what we're doing, period. If we're not doing that, then we're not doing our business. So, slide 3. So here are the thoughts of adding rapid response into core responsibilities. Community health, I'm suggesting that it's Commissioner Vice Chair Causey and Commissioner Carnam. I'm hoping in community safety, of course, the most important is the ad hoc subcommittee on rail safety and youth mental health, and adding in climate mitigation. And I will do that work, and I welcome if some other commissioner would like to join me. Goal 4 is community engagement, and because of the memorandum that Commissioner Ansari wrote on this topic, I suggest we have her do the leadership with former Chair Stimler, and I will be there because of all the women's work that's been part of my life. And then finally, Commissioner Barr. He is a legend in his time on housing. Every variety of housing, there are plaques in your honor in many of these buildings. So I would like you to take that on. Now, let's open this up for discussion. If this doesn't work, you tell me. If you need to change something, you tell me. This is your work plan. And I want you all to be engaged to the top. My screen went nuts. I've got an app update. It's all gone. So thank you, sir. God, you gotta have a techie on hand when you need them. I just didn't want to press anything and break anything. So who wants to start? Do you like the consolidation? Does it make sense? And Commissioner Carnan, speak loudly into the mic, please. Yeah. I can't hear you most of the time.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I think consolidation is definitely good. It helps us focus. I have few thoughts and recommendations. I think consolidation, having around problem areas as opposed to the solution areas, would be a better approach to accomplish. So from that perspective, I think having youth mental health as one of the top key issues that we could actually contribute this year is actually helpful. And I think everything around the youth mental health, for instance, on this page, from youth mental health, the LGBTQ Resource Center, LGBTQ Youth Allies, and also having probably AI combining all of that into youth mental health should be one in my mind. I think AI Bill of Rights is very critical for us to focus. I've got some responses after we spoke, some emails from people asking, I think they would like to participate, and it's actually helpful. Probably we should not wait for it to be reactive and do it next year. We should probably start thinking and working about it in the context of public health. And since we are, I think my second recommendation is, I think focus is primarily about what we, in fact, having broader community mental health might not be a good idea. I would rather say, let's focus heavily on youth mental health as the top priority after the core responsibilities. And then we anyway have community safety, so we can have community health where we also talk about adult and senior and mental health combined with the community safety. I think what that helps us is to have a single subcommittee that's razor focused on the youth mental health and LGBTQ. So
I think it would be, can I interact? Am I allowed?
I would let Commissioner Carnum finish, and then yes, of
Yeah.
course.
No, I have questions.
And the last point, sorry to interrupt, is if you don't mind going to the next slide.
I think she's moved back to all the goals.
Yeah. I know, I just wanted to show it to Chair to talk. If you move to the next slide, please, if you don't mind. So here, since you're looking for community safety partner, I think it would be really good to have goal 2 as youth mental health, and we could have community health and safety as 3. I think that would just help us focus, but that's just my recommendation. We can, thanks.
Thank you. Amy. Commissioner Shea.
Yeah, I mean, I like what you've done in terms of consolidating the goals. I think that works really well. I just think, particularly with this slide where you have the commissioners responsible, I think there's a lot more nuance in that. For instance, there are many more commissioners that are responsible for different aspects of core responsibilities, right? Okay. So, and then maybe for the climate mitigation, there are other commissioners. So I think maybe this is an oversimplification of the commissioners that are responsible for each of the goals. Okay.
I'm not allowed to talk? I'm allowed to talk. I wanted to have someone take responsibility and then fill it out.
Okay, so that was almost
the
like a
intent.
lead for each goal? Okay, I see
Or a
that.
chair of a subcommittee, and then have.
And just a
the
reminder to
individual-
come closer to the mic so we can hear you.
Closer to your mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was leaning back and talking.
You're comfortable, but yeah, close to the mic.
Okay. The idea was to have a chair or co-chairs of the subcommittee that would do the framework and then fill out the specificity, the tasks, and the projects, and bring the other commissioners in as needed.
Got it. I actually think that's a very good idea, so I approve.
If we are shifting to youth mental health, I think that we should reach out to Dr. Shashank Joshi, who is a professor of adolescent psychiatry at Stanford and has, from the times of the first clusters, has worked with the school district in a prevention perspective. And so it would be good if the commissioners working on youth mental health,
Yeah, good
particularly
idea.
around the issue of what's going on with these youth and what can we do to change the pattern? Is it only about, changing the Churchill crossing, or is it bigger than that? So Dr. Joshi,
Yeah.
who by the way, he was awarded the Tall Tree Award for his work on this area.
Thanks.
I don't really have anything to add, but can we go to the next slide real quick? I just wanted to, okay. So Chair Kraus, basically, if you have a lead on one of these, like for example, community engagement, and I'm on one of the leads on that. If I go back to the first page, and there's like several bullet points under community engagement, like voting age, for example, is it leading on all of that? Is the idea to?
May I ask again? It's going to be up to you
Okay,
to refine that with the chair, my vice chair, and staff.
okay,
Because I think that the private memorandum you shared with myself and staff was very thoroughly thought out, and you obviously have some intent and some steps, and you start there.
okay, great.
Are there any other comments? So should we do a resolution? Is that the time that it is, or do we go to public comment?
I first want to revisit Commissioner Carnum's suggestion for change and just make sure that it is reflected in what's on the board and that the entire commission agrees.
Can I add? I actually don't think it makes sense to kind of decouple youth mental health from community mental health. I kind of feel like they're interrelated, and it doesn't really make sense to take the adult mental health issues and put them in community safety. That's just my opinion.
The only reason is the magnitude of the problem. And this is becoming sort of a third cluster, and the generic tendency is what we are learning early stage, it's only weak, is that there was a lot of influence from past year's incident to this incident, and it's correlated, and this can trigger other issues. I think it's important for us to look at the problem in hand and have sharp focus and solve at least towards that one problem. And I'm not saying that the adult and senior mental health does not exist, but I guess in terms of the magnitude, I think it's probably worth focusing more on that particular problem as the top one. If there is a separate subcommittee, if the council members are meeting, Project Safety Net is back, there are 10 new initiatives across the city of Palo Alto. I think HRC also having focused priority on that might help in that cause.
Anybody else other than me ready to talk? Commissioner Attari?
I would just say that I think I agree with Commissioner Carnum that it should be its own just because of the magnitude. I think it's a huge problem, which we obviously can't just solve ourselves, but focusing on it, I think in isolation might be going deep. In my mind, I support that.
Commissioner Barr?
About all of these, so here where I should have mentioned about housing?
Your feedback specifically on the goal 2, whether it should be youth mental health or?
Okay.
Or, yes.
That, I think it's fine as long as youth mental health is the first bullet. Because the community is really concerned about youth mental health now. So I think as long as it's the first bullet among community mental health, that then allows the other, because I can imagine the question of to what extent are there seniors who feel isolated in the community? And maybe that's something that we should talk to Avenidas or some other organization about that would be part of this community mental health. But youth mental health should be in the first bullet.
I would not decouple it either. I think we're talking about a big community mental health bucket. The first is the tragedy that is ongoing, which is youth mental health. But the other bullets within youth should be LGBTQ. It could not get more poignant than the tragedy last week. And thirdly, I think there are seniors and there are vets, there are unhoused. This is an epidemic right now, and we need to be broad in our thinking, and we to go to each bowling pin, and the lead is youth mental health. But we should not shortchange ourselves by understanding the breadth of the problem, even in Palo Alto.
The only response that I have is, are we sending the right message? Because the question is not about whether we want to do it or not, but are we supporting the way the city council and some of the other organizations are initiating projects around it?
Chair, may I ask a question that I think might help? May I ask a question that I think might help?
Sure.
What would the result be in having adult? So what would the culmination be for that sub-goal?
Since we're looking at all kinds of housing, and senior housing is up on the top, and then below that is affordable housing, which is right underneath that. And the outcome would be we need to hear what's going on in the adult population, the isolation of seniors, the lack of medication and process of our vets, and unfortunately, the mental health of the people who are unhoused. It's endemic, right now in our culture. And I don't think we'd be doing ourselves a service by not looking at a big umbrella. It doesn't mean that you're going to shortchange,
Yeah, and I think
children, because that is right front and center.
if I may respond to your question, I think it's just outcome driven. Like, we're not saying we should not be focusing on adult and senior mental health. It's just that having number one priority as youth mental health sends a very strong signal that that is the outcome we want to drive.
I believe, and that should not be my name on goal 2, it should be Causey and Carnam, the other K person. Thank you. I think that we will articulate projects and goals, and you will take it step by step. And I think the first is that we will become a liaison to the subcommittee, the ad hoc committee. It's not sitting there now, for rail safety and
Project safety net.
children's mental health.
Okay.
You can also, if you like look at the work plan and how it's laid out, you can choose things that are going to be high priority and then lower priority.
Okay.
So I don't know
Thank you.
if that helps.
Yeah, that helps, actually. Thanks.
And that's the work that you're going to be doing, leading that subcommittee.
Understood. Thanks.
Okay. So are you comfortable with that?
Yes, absolutely. And then the last question was on the AI for belongings. I particularly feel that this HRC commission in 2026 should work towards recommending AI Bill of Rights, because it is doing it next year would be more reactive. And I think since a lot of those decisions are coming out, and I think now is the right time for HRC Commission to have an opinion and make recommendation this year.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I was trying to,
right.
Yeah.
Reduce the work, but I think I feel it's extremely important, whether we put it in the community safety or community engagement. Not engagement, but I think it's more of a community
it
safety.
could be community
inclusion.
safety along with fraud. It's because when do you know where you're talking to a bot
Yeah, not
and
just.
giving your financial information?
Not just that, I think without having guardrails,
Yeah.
I think it could lead to a lot of biases inbuilt and pre-programmed, yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So let's put it back in and figure out where it goes.
Yeah,
It was in community engagement. It could be in community safety. It could be, no, I don't think it's in mental health. I don't think so. I think it's more a safety issue.
yeah, it's more of a safety issue.
Yeah, I
All
would
right.
agree that it should go into community safety.
Done. Are you happy? Are you okay? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Are we ready to take a vote? I need someone to make a resolution for the adoption of the 2026, does it go to 27, work plan? So,
I second it.
okay. Commissioner Ansari, Commissioner Sridhar. I want to call you Sridhar. I'm sorry, I don't mean any disrespect. That's how I met you.
All right, I'm done typing now. I have the motion up on the board that Commissioner Ansari moves, seconded by Commissioner Carnum, to approve the 2026-27 work plan. Is that, okay. So I will move to a roll call vote. Commissioner Ansari.
Aye.
Commissioner Barr.
Aye.
Chair Kraus.
Aye.
Commissioner Shea.
Aye.
Commissioner Carnum.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Just put up one point, and it doesn't change the vote, but noting that I am the sole name under the housing, I am wide open to having any of my colleagues join me on the housing goal and focus.
We have two more people, so who's not here, maybe we'll ask them, I
We're all
think.
hoping. You know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, so, and isn't there a new commissioner opening that's being
March
looked at?
31st.
So we will see who the new commissioner is also. Just FYI, that I'm happy to have folks work with me on this, on the whole issue of housing, because that is one of my chief concerns.
There's an awful lot of work to do.
And due to Mary Kate, Commissioner Stimler and Vice Chair Cowsey not being here, we'll do the subcommittees, approval of the subcommittees next time.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to city official reports, commissioner reports.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We didn't specifically say, but there were no public comments for that agenda item. Just want that on the record.
Thank you
Yes.
for adding that, Elena.
Sorry, you can continue.
Thanks for keeping us in order. Shall we move to city official reports? I have a report that Vice Chair and I did on the police. Is there anyone else? All right. We had a great meeting on January 27th, very early in the morning, from 7:45 to 8:45. And we had James Reichschneider, who is the current interim chief during Chief Bender's medical leave. We're anticipating that he'll be back hopefully later this month is the latest I heard. I was there and Vice Chair Causey was there. First and most prominent, we had a complete tour of the new building. I'd been fortunate, and I'd been there before with the police foundation. So, but even more of it was done. And there were certain things that were extraordinary, which is they have brought light into the arena for the people who spend hours and hours on the phones. So the whole center of the new community building is light. And there's glass, and there's kitchens on every floor, and there's seating areas that never existed before. So the facility now co-locates emergency services, emergency operations, fire, and police. And they're hoping to have better and more coordination as we go forward. The dispatch are going, they're the people in 12-hour shifts. And it's really exciting for them to have so much light and to be able to work in those environments. It's a really exciting. Now for the Super Bowl, I think the major things that we did, the police did, they loaned their canines at the Super Bowl, as did almost every other jurisdiction in this arena. So when I was there with the academy, the police academy, we got to meet the dogs and their trainers and see them up close and how competent they were. So that was really nice to hear. The next thing that they really were focused on was Caltrain and art stops. And they were very, very active during that. And finally, you know, the New England Patriots practice at Stanford. So they worked with the sheriffs who are on location at Stanford in making sure they were safe, that fans weren't intruding or running into their practice space, and that they were getting on buses, being transported, and really, that was a major priority. I can tell you, the interim chief told us they had no notification of ICE whatsoever. And it appears to have been moderately quiet. So I'm grateful that that weekend happened, and we had the briefing from the interim chief. Now, regarding the oversized vehicles, we clarified some things of what's going on with enforcement, and there's new signage that's going on all over the city. I could not ascertain temporary parking at Charleston Plaza, so I think that journey is still going on as Public Works comes in to wash the streets and clean the areas around the existing RV dwellers. We did clarify that personal belongings were not getting confiscated, or that they can get them back if they're taken. It just pains me, I'm sorry. That's a person's whole world, and they get towed away. But at least the police are working to be able to return the items if they have somewhere to return them to. Life Moves is keenly involved. I know that Peninsula Healthcare is involved because they both work with the unhoused and are intimately involved with the residents that get moved and dislocated. You know, we talked about the rail tracks even back then in January, and how much the police were trying to protect those crossings from fatalities. The good news is that the department has been looking for a mental health counselor for a very long time when they lost their current not because of anything bad, but because she wanted to go back home to LA. And they've had an open ticket item to fund, and it's coming to fruition. So they'll have a counselor working with them, and that's very important to de-escalate situations. Now, Palo Alto has no plan to shut off their ALPR cameras. Of late, you probably have read that Mountain View has made a different decision. I've since been updated, which is, this is way out of our purview, and it's on council's pocket right now to make the policy decision on how the cameras are used and how they're not used. Our department has found it's been very useful in keeping our residents safer. So I don't think we can make any recommendations. We have to wait for council and staff to do their homework and let us know if and when there's any new policy recommendation. And that's what we did at the police department. But I can tell you, they are so helpful, at least to the issues that we raise, that we hear from residents. And I hope that relationship will continue to be as useful as it has been. And there's no other, I think there's no other liaison reports. Is there from anybody? Okay.
Councilmember Stone online. Councilmember Stone is.
Oh, Councilmember Stone is our council person, but he had another opportunity.
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're there. Hello, Councilmember Stone. Can you say hello to the commission? I have the
Yeah, can you,
luxury of knowing you, but please let the rest know who you are.
and can you see me? Am I on the screen as well?
You're now on the screen.
Oh, okay. Well, wonderful. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Greer Stone. I'm the Vice Mayor of Palo Alto, and I'm happy to be your liaison again. So I wasn't able to be there in person. I had an event that I had to participate in, and by the time I was going to get back to it, I've been following the meeting on Zoom since the beginning and just saw how efficient you all are being. So figured I was better off just going home at that point. But I've been listening to the entire thing, impressed with the conversation. I think where you're where you're focused at, especially on youth mental health, is exactly what the commission should be spending a lot of time on. So I really appreciated the thoroughness and thoughtfulness of that conversation and your desire to dedicate your time and energy to that, because I agree. I don't think there is any more important issue that we as a city can be focused on right now. I'm one of three council members serving on the rail safety and youth mental health ad hoc. We've met twice now and are, I would say, moving ahead quite quickly but diligently on a series of policy recommendations. It looks like we should be able to have coming up on the next city council agenda on February 23rd, hopefully a contract coming before the council to be able to select a security provider to be able to provide security at all four of the train crossings in Palo Alto 24/7. We've been engaging in conversations with the Palo Alto School District to be able to share those costs. And so if any of you were able to kind of see the school board meeting on Tuesday night, there seemed to be wide agreement amongst the school board members there to be able to support us in that request. So that's a good opportunity for us to partner with the school district. So fingers crossed, things move at a good pace there, and that contract is able to come before the council before our next meeting. Then we've also been discussing the potential of closing the Churchill crossing. Of course, that is a more complex policy decision with a lot of kind of unintended, well, a lot of consequences with it as well, with regards to kind of movement and there are various safety issues associated with that as well that we're working through, but we are exploring those options and talking with the California Public Utilities Commission that ultimately has to approve any type of closure of train crossings. So we're engaging in conversations with them and hoping to be able to have a hoping to have the council be able to make a policy decision on whether we move forward with a temporary closure within the next couple of months. But staff and the ad hoc are working very quickly to be able to get that in front of the city council as soon as possible. But again, because it's such a complex issue, it will take a little bit of time. I know there are also a lot of issues as well coming up this year that will require the HRC support on, from OSV dwellers, the Pride event that you all discussing earlier, which sounds incredible. Um, I've I've brought up in policy and services a possibility of also expanding the HRC's role when it comes to kind of making funding recommendations to the city council for additional nonprofit needs. And so when I brought that up at policy and services at the end of last year, it was met with general support. And so that idea is going to continue in discussions, and I will continue to keep you updated. But ultimately, I think the HRC is the most kind of qualified place for the kind of discussions about where money should be going to nonprofits, because you are all truly boots on the ground and have those relationships and really understand what all these incredible nonprofits do for our community. So there's a lot going on. I can't imagine a more important commission than the HRC right now, given the kind of the chaos we're seeing across this country and the tragedies that we're experiencing here at home. So I'm incredibly grateful for all of you and all the work that you do. And I'm here as a partner. So reach out whenever you need.
May I ask a question of Councilmember Stone that I'm not sure if you heard that I have been asked to lead the commissioners, or as the commission, to look at the goal of housing, one of our goals for this plan. And I was very pleased to see after the city council retreat that I believe housing was number 2. I think administrative efficiency was number 1 of the target goals, and housing was number 2. So if I'm going to be working through the commission, I wonder, is there a council member that I should reach out to coordinate the work on housing that I do as part of the commission?
I guess as liaison to the commission, you can reach out to me.
Okay.
So feel free, and staff can definitely give you my contact.
Great, thank you.
I heard Minka go, turn on your mic, in the body of Sophie. Thank you, Councilmember Stone. It's a joy to have you back again as our liaison. So I say thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
I guess it's time to wrap up. Is there any? Oh,
We have 2 staff reports or updates. So as you guys know, Commissioner Shea will be leaving us soon. So the applications are open until the 18th for the HRC partial term. It's April to October. So if you want to reach out to your networks, anyone who might be interested. And then the Mitchell Park Library will be hosting a Know Your Rights workshop on May 18th.
and I will attend. And any other commissioners that want to join me, I welcome you to be there. The quality is quite good.
What is the focus on for
Know
the
your
Know Your
rights.
Rights?
Yeah.
Is it immigrants' perspective? I think in some of the cities where this is happening, it's becoming a magnet for ICE or something. Is there something we can make sure that this is not going to
Mike, please.
It's off.
It may have lost its battery.
I shout. No, I was saying that in some of the other cities, these type of events have attracted ICE on purpose. So I was wondering if there is any countermeasures we can do to make sure when people come, it doesn't work against them.
At this point in time, but I can't confirm at that point in time. At this point in time, we have not had a problem. We have, I think staff, Sophie, perhaps you can stay in contact on that event?
Yes, we can send you guys the flyer and great flag. We'll keep that in mind.
Then do we have any more public comment, or can we adjourn? We're adjourned. Thank you for all the hard work on the work plan, everybody.